Hey gang, I talked about Name Wrangler from Mini Tricks on a recent episode of Mac Power Users, and that prompted several of you to ask me about it and how it works, so here you go. I got a video for you. You can get Name Wrangler from minitricks.com, or it's one of their mini utility apps, and they're frankly one of the best utility developers for the Mac. Everything they make, they're kind of small, but they're really good at what they do. They also make apps like Moom, which I also love. But Name Wrangler is the renaming app that I use whenever I need to do name, management stuff. So here the app is opened up. I've got the ability to drag files or folders onto it. I happen to have some pictures here my wife took. She went to the Haunted Mansion premiere for Disney, so that was fun. But the images have lousy names. Image 1030.jpg isn't going to work. Name Wrangler is perfect for fixing that. So the first thing we can do is take a look at the tools available in Name Wrangler. You can find and replace. So we can go through and find specific things here. Like let's say I'm going to find the letters IMG and just replace that with image. And you'll see that it shows you what the source file looks like and what the destination file looks like. I'll rename those. And it is immediate. The thing happens like so fast. And one of the things about this application is it renames something like 1,500 files per second. It is ridiculously fast. When I was a lawyer and I would have to rename piles and piles of documents for discovery, this tool just made quick work of it. So that's find and replace. You can also use regular expressions and do all sorts of cool stuff with that. Sequence I'm going to come back to. Well, actually, let's just do sequence. I really like sequence because I think that's something I often do with big groups of files when you rename them. So let's go ahead and add a sequence. We're going to use Arabic, but we can use Roman letters or arbitrary terms. So we'll use letters. And we're going to start at 1 and increase by 1. And the number of digits I'm going to put in here, I'm going to make it 3 digits. Even though there's definitely not 100 images here, I kind of like the idea that you can add leading zeros. See, I could even make that a higher number if I want to say 6 digits. But we'll just do 3. And then you can add a prefix and a suffix. So for instance, this is that Haunted Mansion thing. So I'm going to say Haunted Mansion Premiere. And now you can see that's what it looks like. And that looks funny because the 001 is right on top of it. So I'm going to go in the prefix and hit space. And then that cleans it up. If I want to be crazy, I could add a dash space and that even cleans it up a little bit more. And then you can add a suffix to it as well. Suffix, there we go, suffix. And there is a lot of metadata you can choose from. You can pick the name, the original name. You can also get file data. Like if I wanted to put the file creation date in it, I could. I can put the file creation date in it. And you can see by default, it is that ISO format. And again, we want to give it just a little space. Dash space, and there we go. We can see the file creation date getting added. That's kind of fun, but I don't want to do that. Let's look at the other options we've got here. Under file creation date, path, where it's located, the URL, bundle identifier, content type. We could put the content type if we wanted. This is an image, public.jpg. Or we could go under file information and add the size or the owner. You could add a custom icon. This is the reason why this app is worth it. By the way, it's $19. And it seems like a lot for a utility, but it just pays for itself the first time you use it. And they are constantly updating it. You could add image data. This is what I really want to do here. I want to add the height and width. So I'm going to put height, and then I'm going to put an X, and then I'm going to add width. And that's looking pretty good. If I want, I could put that in parentheses just to make it even more clear. And it updates automatically. And you see, there we go. Haunted Mansion Premiere with a series number or sequence number and the image size. But just for giggles, let me just show you a few more of these here. You've got the ability to add additional image information, like what camera did you shoot it on? What's the white balance? What's the metering mode? What's the alpha channel? What's the aperture? So if you want to get very detailed in your naming of your files relating to images, they've got it all here. They've got a similar set of tools for audio, duration, lyricists, album, artists, number of channels, just tons of stuff. For video, you've got, again, duration, performers, director, producer, genre. I use this with some of the videos I make for the field guides. When I'm figuring out how long the field guide is at the end, as I finish it, I just run this on it, and it pulls the duration and puts it in the name, so I don't have to go digging through the information panel for each video. I know there's easier ways to do it, but this is how I do it. Location data, if it's there, latitude, longitude, altitude, location, city, and then other is just a whole bunch of additional information you can put in here. So the reason why this app is the one everybody uses that does any sort of bulk renaming is because anything you want to do with the app, you can. But I kind of like it how it is here. Now, you can also run additional steps, though, so I'm going to do that as well. Hit the add step here, and I'm going to do a find and replace here for Premiere, because I don't really like it. PREM, I'm going to type PREM, and then replace that with Premiere. And now you can see that it's changing the name here all the way to Premiere. Let's go ahead and rename 22 files. Lickety split, we're done. And now we've renamed these files. Just to take a look at some of the other stuff you can do with this thing. In addition to sequence, you've got the compose options here. So you can create your own custom one, like kind of a custom one. Add prefix and add suffix. We've already kind of covered that as part of sequence. You can insert something into the middle of the name if you want. We're not going to do that either. You can remove, you can change case. I think the change case is actually pretty good. Like for instance, right now it is Haunted Mansion Premiere with caps. But let's say, hey, I want only lowercase in there. I can do that. So we're going to say change everything to lowercase. And I'm going to delete this second step here because it is now causing a problem. It's adding the capital P Premiere because it sees it there. So, in fact, it's causing two problems when you look at it because it's just looking for PREM and it already says Premiere there. So it says Premiere. All right, so we'll delete the second step and say, okay, now make it all lowercase. Let's go ahead and rename 22 files just like that. And boom, it's done. So we've got 22 files, all lowercase. If you want to use the title case, you can go back to it just as easily. And rename 22 files. There we go. In terms of the extension, you see that's set throughout. You can turn the extension off or on, but you can also set a custom extension if you want. Not going to do that. And if that's not enough, they've got advanced tools. So you can create snippets and actually write code into this thing. Another cool thing you can do is you could save it out as a droplet and just put it on your desktop and you can drag files to it if you've got one you do frequently. But what I really find myself doing with this application is whenever I get a group of files that just need a quick rename, I put together a custom recipe in Name Wrangler, drag them in, and they're done. I've done it with just a small number of files here to show you, but like I said earlier, it names them 1,500 per second. So you could put a massive number of files in there and it would do it. And one of the nice things I like, it has this little revert button down here. So if you ever decide that, hey, I shouldn't have done that, you can revert it and start over again. So it's, in essence, non-destructive if you're willing to just step back once and start again. I think this is the best application for renaming your files. I know there's several out there and several of them are very good. And if you're happy with the one you have, I wouldn't recommend changing. But if you're looking for one, Name Mangler is the one you want. You can find that at minitricks.com. As always, thanks for your support in the MacSparky Labs, and I'll see you next time.